wanted to have you on the show because that is important. You know, it's not like everything is like finished now. Or we got rid of all the Confederate statues, the flags, every symbol, so we're done. There's a lot.
I know we're short on time, so I'm going to cut to the chase and say that Iliff got called out in 1974 for having this egregious book and its horrific story, and the American Indian movement relieved them of the cover. The book is still at Iliff.
Oh, it's still there.
The book is still there.
It's not. It's not displayed. Is
no? It's downstairs in a safe.
In a safe.
So, for 35 years that I was at Iliff, I was busy trying to figure out what to do about that book and how to get Iliff's attention. I wrote 2 articles and published them. I can send them to you.
Yeah.
2, I think they're pretty good articles. And then we got a new president who has been much more open and transparent than what we've had in the past. And he's much more interested in making right the wrong that was done by hoarding this trophy as a war relic.
What would you like to see done with the book?
Well,
I think I already know the answer, but I want you to tell my listeners.
It was important to get the Lenape people involved in making that decision. I wouldn't let Iliff just do something on their own.
Right.
Greg, I didn't want them just to get rid of the book. That's too easy.
Yeah.
Then they can erase their own memory of what they did. There's got to be some way for them to remember for time immemorial, we did this. It's not something they can ever overcome by simply burying the book or burning the book.
Right. Yeah, definitely. That's it. And
so Tom Wolfe, the president at Iliff, then gave me the authority and a budget to bring together a panel of Lenape elders. We invited 6, got 5 of them together at Iliff, and had a conference with them to talk with them about what they think Iliff needs to do now. And they were wonderful. They were very straightforward. They were extremely well-spoken. They got Iliff's attention. They built a relationship, with people at Iliff.
Right.
And they came up with a list of demands. They wanted Iliff to establish a permanent relationship with the Lenape Council of Elders themselves. Iliff agreed to that immediately. And so that's long-term. They will bring this group back together.
Wow.
And keep appointing new elders to maintain, the strength of the delegation. They said they wanted Iliff to hire an American Indian activist scholar. They wanted an endowed professorship to hire that scholar. An endowed professorship is something then that endures into the future as well.
Yeah. Wait, I want to ask you, before you go on, were you the only American Indian to be a professor there?
When I came to Iliff, I was the only American. There was one other American Indian professor at any school of theology in the United States. There were only 2 of us.
My goodness.
Then eventually 3 and then 4, but there's never been a lot.
That's a shame. I mean, that's really awful. That's really bad. But I'm glad these demands. What are the other demands that they've asked Iliff to work on?
Say that again.
What are the other demands that?
Well, then I'll give you one more because time is short and we'll just talk from there. They wanted Iliff to create a traveling memorial to its harboring of this book with the
Great.
whole story, including the story of bringing together these Lenape elders. Publicize it, come up with money to send it to other schools of theology, other libraries, other universities, so that it could be a learning tool because the Lenape elders were clear this is a teaching moment. They've come to Iliff at just the right time. Iliff is ready to listen. And indeed, the Board of Trustees last week at Iliff did agree with the president that this is a long-term project that they are committed to and that they embrace
That's
completely.
great. It's
Now,
never too late to do something.
That's really important. That's right. That's really important. It means that what happened wasn't just an oops moment. Oops, we shouldn't have done that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that it was so egregious and so offensive to Indian people. Well, Tom Wolfe, the president, knows there were Indian people who would come to Denver and would not come to Iliff for a meeting because of that book.
My goodness. Yeah.
So I'd
makes
have to
sense.
be with them across the street somewhere else.
It makes so much sense there. And
Yes.
when I first saw the article, it also reminded me of what happens as far as with my folks, where a lot of people will go to someone who has just paid. They'll have an estate sale, and they'll go to someone, especially in the South, and they'll find like a shriveled up toe or a piece of skin or something, and it'll usually be the leftovers of a Black person who had been lynched, who had been carved up after the lynching.
Yeah.
Because
Right. Right.
folks they thought that was good luck to carve a piece of a person if they were lynched and
For mementos.
yeah. And there's still
That
people
was
out
done.
there who have that.
That was done at Sand Creek of
Yeah.
when Shivington led his army, the U.S. Army, into camp and shot women, children, old people, right and left. A couple, 300 of them. They took trinkets too. They cut not just scalps, but they cut the scrota off of the men.
Yeah.
And turned their scrota into shot pouches, cut the breasts off of women, even cut genitalia off of women.
And Sand Creek is a story. I have to do a show. I have to bring you back on. We got to talk about Sand Creek because I have not given enough service on this show to Sand Creek because that's a story in itself. I mean, that is something that everyone should know about.
In Colorado, it's not well known at all, and it should be. It happened here.
If I'm not mistaken, now I have not lived in Colorado, since 2013, but I was an avid biker there. If I'm not mistaken, there's this little tiny plaque on a bike trail about it. Now that may have changed.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
there
remember
there are markers.
Yeah.
There's a marker out by Riverside Cemetery. There's a marker at 16th and Arapahoe.
Yeah.
There's a marker for Little Raven, the Arapahoe chief, on the trail along Cherry Creek, right before the confluence with the main river that runs through Denver.
And what you're mentioning, Tinky, that is one of the bike trails. 16th and Arapahoe, the Cherry Creek, all of that is combined.
Yeah,
and that's
right.
That's where I saw them.
Yeah, right.
And I know most people would not understand what that was about when they see them. But most people that I know just ride past. They don't even look at it. So that, that's something. But getting back to the whole, what happened at Island with the book, what would you like residents, someone in Denver in particular, what you would like to see them do about this issue? Because a lot of folks that listen to my show, since this is it's a Denver-based station, KUHS. What would you like them to do?
Well, ILIF is going to need lots of support in order to do what it needs to do. And one can say they need to do it because uh, they were to use the Christian word, the sinner in this case. Um, but but I think it's more than just ILIF because it was the way people in general thought, and it was that thinking that helped establish the city of Denver. So I'm
Right,
going to say people in Denver need to step up and support ILIF in doing what it's doing. They need to step up and support the Cheyenne and Arapaho as they memorialize Sand Creek.
right. Yeah, definitely.
Become learned about these things.
That's the thing, because there's such a, as we know, there's such a backlash now as far as teaching the true history of this country that it needs to be done. And if folks that are listening to this show today, you must get involved in this issue. You must, Olive is in, Olive is not in this long distance area. It's right in the heart of Denver.
That's right. That's right.
Opening, you can go in there and just go in there and just talk about it, talk about some issues. So
When
take,
when
go
when
ahead.
Barack Obama campaigned for the U.S. presidency in Denver in 2008, he was at the University of Denver, which calls themselves by that colonialist name, the Pioneers.
Yeah,
And Obama praised the people for building up Denver. Said, you really were pioneers. You built something here, as he waved at all of Denver, where there was nothing.
see,
That's not true.
no,
Little Raven had his village right there near the confluence of the Platte River and Cherry Creek. And now there's just a street there now named Little Raven Street,
right.
but that's where his village was.
And most people
They had
don't
to
know what that means.
move.
Yeah,
They had to move in order to make way for uh, Euro-Christian greed during the gold and silver rush.
amazing. I mean, that's something. So yeah, folks in Colorado and Denver, you got to know your history. You got to know that. So anything else you want to say, Tink, as far as if anyone wants to reach you, do you have a website or, where they can reach you at?
Some of my stuff is posted on the ILIF website. These two essays I'm going to send you, one of them is Redskin Tanned Hide, and the second essay is called Damn It, He's an Indian. Uh, those are available on the ILIF website. People can go and find them.
Yeah, I want to check those out, definitely. And also, listeners, check out
And
the
I will
Westport
send them.
article.
I'll send them to you when we hang up here.
Okay, that sounds good. So, Tink, I just want to thank you for coming on today. I hope this is, I hope we talk again because I want to get you back on because there's so much we can discuss.
We can do this again, you bet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 20 years and we're finally talking again. Amazing. But yeah, we got to definitely do this again, Tinker. So
And
thank you.
just for your knowledge, you mentioned my colleague, Vincent Harding, my late colleague. Vincent was on the search committee that brought me to ILIF.
Oh, wow.
So he brought you to Denver. He brought me to Denver as well.
He brought troublemakers there. So that's great, Tinker. So I'll be talking to you later on. I'm gonna, we're gonna conclude this interview now, but don't hang up because I still want to talk to you. So thank you so much, George, for being on. And again, that was George Tinker, Professor Emeritus at ILIF School of Theology. I know you enjoyed that, what he talked about, and please follow up with what he said as far as going to Isla, talking about this issue, looking on their website for the article